Hey folks, welcome to 5 More Great Games. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee.
That's right, we're going in studio for this one, which gives me a small advantage because I know some of the games that Chris plays.
I'm an enigma. You know nothing about me. You forced me to play one of these.
Yes, I did. I might not have remembered that, but you gave me a clue.
Oh, right. Snap. All right.
So what this is, folks, is I'm taking a look at 5 great games that just didn't make my top 100. This is 185 to 90, or 186 to 90. Yes.
It'd be 6 to the 10, yeah.
86 to 90. Anyway, Chris is video editor and runs everything else here at Dice Tower. He runs a lot of stuff now. When we first came, I was like, I hope we can find stuff for you.
Well, you keep me busy.
We did. Alrighty, well, I'm going to talk about these games, and then I'm going to see if Chris has played it, and if not, convince him to play it. Which is easier to convince you than not, because I could just say, play it.
It's almost as if something depends on it. I don't know what it is, but...
Alright, here we go, folks. We're going to start with Faces. So let's just make sure that everyone can see that that's what we're looking at. Yep. Alright, great. I think... Yes. It's weird. I have one screen here, so it's a screen on top of a screen on top of a screen.
Oh, you usually do this in your office. Where
where there's the 2 monitors.
Got it.
Anyway.
I thought you were just incompetent. It was weird.
Faces is a party game, and most of the pictures in Faces look like this. They just, the one who's available. This is a newer version. There's also animals in the game, but they usually are these black and white pictures of fairly stern-looking people.
This is the newer version of the game.
This is the original Faces.
Oh, okay. Back in 1870 when it was published. Got it. The photographs were new then.
I have a very, very, very customized version of Faces. I liked it. I think the game's funny, but there just wasn't very many faces. Those piles there is all there was. I have a stack this high. So that's why it's higher on my list. It was in my top 100 for a while. I feel guilty about putting a custom game that high. Faces is, the way I play it, is basically apples to apples, but with pictures and then making stereotypical assumptions about those people. But it's not so much that you argue, and when it's at its most fun, people are sitting there giving backstory on the people and having a good time. Well, I know you played this because we did it during a spectacular.
That's right, yeah.
You didn't like it?
No, I did like it. I mean, it's this ilk of party game. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would like to play it with these very serious, Esteban von Julio over there and Kaiser Wilhelm, but you have an eclectic set.
The women are pretty funny, actually. I mean, they show like number 3 there. You know that she slapped people's hands with a ruler. So there's that. And also, I think it was because of public domain. Although, again, I feel like you could just go. Getting pictures of people isn't hard.
It's just stock photos and stuff. Yeah, so you have a set with a lot more of just like stock photos and stuff, and that's great because you get people who, you know what I mean, the person from the commercial that can't use a microwave. That's a good person to have in this game. You know, ooh, did this person? Does the person pick the category, or is that based off?
That's what I did. The original one, there's just 1 per card.
Okay.
I put 6 per card, and then just let people pick.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's fun. It's this style of party game. If you like apples to apples, but with more flexibility, that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, the original game has something besides apples apples. There's 2 halves. There's apples apples, and I think the other one is you try to pick the same. Like you turn over the category. The faces are random out there, and then you pick, and everyone's trying to pick the same one. One of those kind of.
Oh, so I've only played half the game then.
No, you played the whole game.
Oh.
All right, Dungeon Twister. Now, Dungeon Twister, which it says here, re-implemented by Dungeon Twister 2, which I have both actually in the same box. Dungeon Twister 2 is the same exact game with miniatures instead of standees. And that's an amazing gray board that snaps around it. I don't have that. Chris, I want that. Did they 3D print that? I'm getting off topic here.
I assume.
So Dungeon Twister, which I am 90% sure you have not played.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not played that. I've never seen this. Is it in the library?
It is.
Okay. I cover my eyes every time I walk by it.
No, it's not. It's in my office because I haven't figured out how to put it in the library yet because it's a messier game.
Oh, got it.
So the base game, you have 8 heroes or people. There's this wizard who's so powerful he's bored. So he warps 8 people into this dungeon and makes them fight each other.
Okay.
and there's no randomness in the game at all, except for initial setup of how these rooms are. And then so you, on your turn, you'll play a card that gives you 2, 3, 4, or 5 actions. You decide which one to play, but you have to play all of them.
Okay.
And then when you take an action, you can move a character. If a character's on a rotating spot, they can rotate it, or they can rotate the one that's the same color. So there's 2 of each one that's in there. You can pick up items and stuff, and everyone has a special ability. And if you're next to someone, you can fight them, and that's just done through card combat. They each have a base strength. You add a card to it. You play a card, you never get it back, except there's one card you always get back.
Okay.
And then if you beat someone, you knock them down. If you beat someone while they're knocked down, then they're out of the game and you get a point. You also get a point for crossing your opponent's end goal.
So this is like Death Race, the board game.
Yes, but it's really chess-like, and it's really neat. And then, there was 8 different characters. There's actually like 40 because they just kept adding more of them. Really like this game.
So it's not 2-player only, is it?
It is 2-player only. There is a 3 to 4-player expansion, and it's 2-player only.
Okay.
It should be. Not all the expansions didn't even make it to America. This is from Christopher Bollinger, who did Archipelago.
Okay. So do you think this is a game that I would enjoy, though? Because your job is to convince me to play the one I haven't played yet, right?
I think you might.
Okay.
I think you might, because the fantasy theming is trappings set on an abstract strategy game.
Okay.
Here's what's not set on. We got Middara, Unintentional Malum. You have not played this because no one in the office has played this.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Have you played this?
I have played this.
Okay, just making sure.
This is a huge dungeon crawl, and then it says Act 1. People are complaining that the new Descent edition has 15 missions. This one has way more than that. If there's one thing about the game that I do not like, it's I don't like the anime. It's strong anime, and it leans a little close to exploitive anime, in my opinion.
Okay.
But the characters themselves are extremely distinct. You have all kinds of things that you're going to do. There's all sorts of enemies that come up. I feel like the enemies behave in a pretty interesting way. There's a huge amount of story. The book to play the game is like that thick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really huge. And you get to upgrade and do all kinds of cool things. I mean, that's how dungeon crawlers are. But these must be the bad guys, because I don't... There we go. And you have different dice.
Okay.
And as you get better, you get the different colors. I actually don't even remember which color is better. I just know that if it says I now get this color instead of the color, the new color must be better than the first. But you can see they're like the gold ones have more symbols and higher numbers on them.
Okay.
As opposed to the stupid white ones.
Now, is it really slow to develop and level up, or do you feel like you get
It's slower than I would prefer, I think.
Okay.
But that all depends. I think that the actual act of fighting, really works well. It has a book, but sometimes it takes you to another book. I know it's dumb.
Okay.
But it takes you to another book, and that book gives you some stuff, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was part of the setup. It's hard to... It has a way to not show you the whole map.
Oh, that's why you would do that.
That's why you would do that. There's another book that's map setups. So you're on it, and you'll go to the spot and say, now go to page 62. Oh, and there you go. And that way you don't accidentally see stuff that's coming.
Okay, see, that's one of my few... I don't have a ton of criticisms of, like, Gloomhaven, but you have an idea of the shape of the map, and you're like, oh, okay. I know I need to save some energy because we're going to have to run a bit more, so this obscures that?
A little bit.
All right.
But it's big and grandiose, and there's a lot going on, but I had a lot of fun playing it.
Okay. I'll tell you, if you set it up for me, I'll play it.
I'm not even trying to convince you to play this one. We have a lot of dungeon... I need to actually figure out, like, what's my favorite dungeon crawlers. I need to do a list of them since I've been playing so many lately. King of Tokyo, you've played it. Yes.
Have I played it with you?
No.
No, so you're just going off of conjecture that...
I'm going off of conjecture that almost everyone's played King of Tokyo at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've taught it many a time.
Don't be trying that. King of Tokyo, which is 10 years old this year, and there's no big deluxe version with miniatures. You can tell I'm not the president of Yellow, because that would have been the case. In fact, they have not done a lot with this game. There's been like 2 expansions, and then there's a bunch of little monster expansions, which were fantastic, but they stopped doing those.
Yeah.
They did King of New York, which was going to be like its own spin-off series, and that kind of fizzled out. And then they did the dark version last year or the year before for no reason.
Yeah. Which of those have I played?
I doubt you played the dark version. Maybe you
I
did.
haven't played Dark, no.
You probably played Power Up at one point. If you like King of Tokyo, you should get Power Up. With the power cards?
I have not played Power. I've played nothing but
really
base
fun.
game.
Oh, no. The Power Up is I really like Power Up. I like having the power cards. You feel like, well, I'm a big fan of asymmetric. So
Right, yeah,
the game already is just chuck dice.
I'm the king. I get to be something different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I bet I would like it. I've always played this in kind of a setting of
Teaching new people?
teaching new people. I forget half the rules sometimes. There's not a ton of them, but I just give the rulebook a quick read and I say, okay, let's go. You know, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a super good game for what it is, and I don't know.
Now, they did do something
always is a
funky.
hit.
If you're a completionist, you hate King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Because there's the original set, then the new set came out with a different monster in that set, and like you saw, the one set there was a special one that had the Space Penguin. They gave out promos at different cons for this, and it's printed all over the world, and each country's printed in has a unique monster.
No way.
I'm serious. There's like a Brazilian monster and a Russian one, or I don't know. I don't remember all the different ones there are, but there's like 8 or 9 of them.
Oof. Okay, yeah, I'm not a completionist, so I would be happy with...
A mutual completionist friend that we have found this out and almost died on the spot. I was amused. And even in my set, I took a box of Scythe and repurposed it, made it big. I have probably 20 monsters in there that I've hunted down.
Now, have you... This is a dangerous thing I'm about to ask. Have you ever looked on Etsy to see if there are, like, other people's 3D printed monsters?
I've not. Why, have you?
No, I haven't. The thought dawned on me now. So...
I just wish there was 3D printed monsters. I really do.
Or miniatures or something, yeah.
The last game we're taking a look at today is Insider or Werewords. Yes, they're technically different games. Yes, they're essentially the same game. Werewords is a streamlined version of Insider with more roles at it, because Ted Alspach does that. And Ted will also tell you that it's a different game than Insider. I feel like they're so close, I can't really differentiate between the two of them, other than this one's in a red, boring-looking box. And it's from Oink Games, and if you like the Oink Games, then this is the one you have. And if you like Werewolf, then Werewords is one you have. But essentially, it's 20 questions, and everyone knows the answer. No. One person knows the answer, but they're trying to get people to guess it incorrectly. They're the werewolf. And that werewolf can even be the person answering questions, which I think in Insider may not have been the case. I don't remember. I love this game. I'm going to guess you've played one of the two versions at least.
Okay, which one do you think?
Insider.
You're wrong. I played both.
Do you agree that they're fairly similar?
Yes, I don't know anyone... I mean, besides one person who publishes one of them, who thinks that they're that different, right? They're very much the same game.
I hope I ranked them the same, because that would be awkward if I didn't. An 8 and an 8.5. I'll fix that right now.
I think I prefer Insider. It's just simpler, right? It's a smaller stack of cards is maybe the only issue with it, but this is not a game I'm going to play until the cards fall apart, you know? This is, for me, one of those perfect, like, end of convention kind of games. It's 11 o'clock at night, midnight or something.
Yes.
It's one of the last days of the convention or something. You're just sitting around tired, and you say, you know what, I can teach one more. And I end up pulling, out Insider or Werewords, whatever's available.
I like Werewords a little better because there's a few more things going on, which you don't have to use. You can turn them off.
Yeah.
But also because you can put in your bank of words. Insider has a very limited amount of words.
It does, yeah.
Which is probably good enough. I like the weight is 1.08.
1.08. Oh, somebody rated it at 1.5. Oh, I guess they only go by...
4 people gave it a 2. I don't even know what I would give it, but it is a very light game. That's a super light game, my word. Alrighty, folks, it's time for you to vote on which one is your favorite. I think this one is a slam dunk, but what do you think?
A slam. Okay, out of the 5.
So we got Phases, Dungeon Twister 2, or Dungeon Twister, Middara, King of Tokyo, or Insider/Werewords?
Yeah, slam dunk is probably an accurate phrase. I think King of Tokyo is going to be the most voted on.
I don't even know what would be a close second. Like, I know that each of these games has its very strong fans. Dungeon Twister is very old and esoteric. Faces is hard to find. It's also a party game. Middara is, you're a fan of that or you're not. And Werewords Insider, I don't know how much buzz each one of those got.
I assume that they'll be second most popular in the People's Choice. Do you try and guess what's going to be my favorite of, or do I just share that? Or
No, you can say it. I mean, I don't know. You played, what, 3 of these games?
I played 3 of them, yeah.
I'm going to guess your favorite would be Insider.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like I have like a very specific time and place where I'm like, I want to pull this game out.
Well, there we go. King of Tokyo, yes, Insider came in second, sort of. You know, I think Dungeon Twister is prime Kickstarter bait.
Like a reprint of it, upgraded bits and stuff. What would that outside frame board do? The one that you were looking at in those pictures there, like hold the tiles in?
Yeah.
Okay, because otherwise they're just loose
They're
tiles.
just there.
Right?
And they're probably better to be loose because you're easier to rotate. That's probably a waste of time, and I just want it anyway.
But if it went to Kickstarter, $50 add-on.
And everything would be miniatures, and we would start with 8 characters and end with 273, for sure. All right, I would ask Chris where you could see him next, but you're going to see him next. If you want to come back in 45 minutes, we are doing Shoots and Marbles, The Power of 4. Or no, what did I call it this time? 4 Square, which is also the name of one of our video review series for confusion purposes.
Excellent. Excellent.
You want to see us race marbles? Amazing. Come back then. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee.
And you've been watching 5 more great games.